Welcome to the last segment of the Developmental English videos. Here we are going to take a quick look at the new features in your Developmental English ACLIA and MindTap courses. We already know that here at Cengage Learning, we are the premier company when it comes to content and activities in these developmental English courses. We beat out the competition when it comes to meaningful content and engaging the students with activities. We've now only widened that gap with these new activities for ACLIA and MindTap, and let me show you how. First of all, you're probably wondering, okay, which course are these in and how do I know where they are? Well, don't worry, we're going to give you a nice chart that lists all of these features and which courses that they're in. But I do want to point out for you where you will see these activities in some major courses. In Evergreen, the 10th edition Evergreen, it came out a little while ago. However, we did not want to wait for a new edition to give those customers access to these amazing activities. So we've done a refresh to the Evergreen, ACLIA, and MindTap and added these new activities in. So the same book, they don't have to change their syllabus, but if they package it now and create a new course, they're going to get some of these amazing activities. Opportunity for you. And also, we talked about Fusion in the IRW market in the last video. We've definitely added these activities to this book and these courses. In the reading series, we have a brand new edition of Reading for Results from the Fleming series. It's in its 13th edition now, a very popular book. It's the mid-level book in this series, which is the most popular. So we've taken the time and updated the ACLIA and MindTap as well, and you're going to see some of these fabulous activities there. And in Brandon customers have been clamoring and begging us to please give us some text-specific digital solutions for this book. And we have finally done that. So you're going to have a text-specific ACLIA and MindTap for Brandon. Those digital solutions will have these new activities. And also just another little tidbit about Brandon. If you have career and technical schools out there, we really beefed up the readings in this edition to really focus more on readings that students would encounter from a career or technical landscape. So students going into things like nursing and culinary and things like that, you're going to see these readings really relate to students going on that career or technical track. And lastly, you're going to hear so much more about this at the January sales meeting, but I did just want to mention it here. We have a first edition out called Building Writing Skills the Hands-On Way. And in this new first edition, the ACLIA and MindTap digital solutions will have these activities as well. So, what are some of these activities that I'm so excited about? We have something called the Summary Spotlight. And in the Summary Spotlight, what we're going to do is provide students the opportunity to practice summarizing an academic passage. So we'll give them a passage and they're going to have to choose between two summaries. And then they get to correct errors when trying to paraphrase, which is a skill that these developmental English students struggle with. So we're giving them the opportunity to practice this at every step of the way. So let's take a look at what that looks like within a course. So here is the summary spotlight within an actual course. As you can see here, first of all, the students are just giving a passage that they read. Then there's a couple questions that they answer about the package just to make sure that they understood it. And then we come to the draft of summary, and we have two fictional students here. Each of these students have drafted a summary of the passage that the students have just read, and they have to decide which student wrote the best summary. Second, after that, we give the students certain quotations, and based on those quotations, students have to decide which of these best options is an option for paraphrasing that particular quotation. So this starts the students on the track of not plagiarizing and learning how to paraphrase another person's work or quotations. So that's Summary Spotlight. Let's look at the next feature. The next feature is called Workshop Challenges, and this has already been a popular feature for customers that have been using it. This is going to provide students with real life scenarios where they can find specific grammar errors and then correct those errors. So we're really bringing this writing to life in these workshop challenges. And a lot of our customers have already spearheaded these workshop challenges into group activities as a class, and they're really engaging the students more. So let's take a look at what this looks like within an actual course. So here in the workshop challenge, we are working on simple past tense. So the students are given some specific steps to take when you are looking for errors that have to do with past tense. And then we give the students a real life scenario. It's an actual resume. I mean, how many students have not had to go back and revise their resume? Or maybe they just didn't know how. So we give them a resume, and the students have to go through and choose which verb they would use when revising this resume. And there's other things like blogs and emails and follow-ups from an interview. This is really putting the students, when the students ask, why do I need to know this? You pull these activities out and say, hey, did you ever have to revise a resume? Have you ever had to write a follow-up email after an interview? Real life scenarios that students are going to encounter. So this is very popular. You want to show these workshop challenges. The next feature that I want to talk about is called peer review challenge and critical thinking activities. This will enable students to practice critical thinking skills, which is so key, and actually have students analyze the work of a fictional student. So that when students actually do some peer review with the students in the classroom, they will have had some practice. Instructors have told us that it's so hard to get developmental English students to peer review each other's papers because they just say, oh, I like it, it was good, it was bad. Well, we're giving them activities where they can practice reviewing their peers' papers and focus on specific things that they should look at. So let's take a look at what this looks like inside a course. So inside a course, you'll see a particular topic. For example, this is present tense agreement. And at the very end of that, you'll see this called peer review challenge. And let's take a look at what that actually looks like. So it gives the students a scenario that says, once you're finished writing your draft, you might consider exchanging your work with a classmate and let them know that here you're acting as a peer reviewer. So we have a fictional classmate here, Sherry, who tells you, I've just finished writing my rough draft of my compare and contrast paragraph for my zoology course, and I'm looking for a peer review. And it says, do you think you can help me? And it also says that I struggle with present tense agreement, which ironically happens to be what we're focusing on in this particular set of activities. So the student takes a read of Sherry's paper, and then we do some activities. And it asks you, has Sherry included an implied main idea? And if you've forgotten what implied main idea is, you can click. It gives you a pop-up to let you know what that is. And then you can go through and answer the questions. And next, it gives you, the student, some specific help on how to fix these specific errors. So we're really targeting personal errors for a student and how the student finds those errors. And also, when they are reviewing another student's paper for peer review, these are the types of things that they should look at. So that's peer review. We have one last one. The very last type of activity that we're taking a look at is the MindTap transfer read and write activities. And we looked at this in the last video, so I don't want to spend a lot of time in it. I do just want to show you this activity in a course that's not the Fusion IRW course. Remember, this is the activity that promotes the transferability of skills. So let's look at this in a MindTap writing course. And remember, this activity is only available in MindTap, not Applia. So in this MindTap course, once again, you'll see the read write activity, and you can edit that and call that transferability of skills or something like that if you want. But basically, we've gone through and now we have chosen a Questia reading, and this reading is focused on violent video games. The topic is on cause and effect, so we're looking at the cause and effect of the video games on childhood aggression. And then, since this comes from a writing book, we are going to ask the student to now practice writing about cause and effect using a totally different piece of reading that came from an outside source. So here the students can come and they can write their response here, and the instructor can take a look at it. This is low stakes writing practice, remember, because an instructor may not want to read and grade all of these, but it's really, again, giving the students the opportunity to transfer the skills that they are learning in this course to other readings and writings and then practice those skills. So thank you guys very much. I can't wait to see you at the sales meeting in January, and enjoy the rest of your module.